everybody, welcome back to part 3 of this color along / tutorial, whatever you'd like to call it. So in this part we will be doing her tail, the water, the sky, of course the sun too, and the leaves to this tree here. I played around with a few different color options for her tail, but it all just kind of looked funny unless I used colors that were already used, because what we have colored right now takes up such a big part of the page. I really don't want to add too many new colors. So for the most part, we're going to make do with the colors that we already have, or at least similar colors to what we already have. So as always, I'll show you what I have planned out here. See if I can zoom in on just the part that we're doing right now. Again, I'm using 2 cameras, so please bear with me. Okay, so for the tail, I figured we'll do the same as the flower, which would be peacock blue, PC 1027, aquamarine, PC 905, light aqua, PC 992, and powder blue, which is PC 1087. So that will be the colors for the tail. The leaves are going to be the same as the shirt, except the darker green is going to be dark green, which is PC 908. Our mid-tone is going to be parrot green, which is PC 1006. And then our light green is going to be spring green, PC 913. The water is going to be cobalt turquoise, PC 105, light aqua, PC 992, and light green, which is PC 920. I looked at pictures of sunrises, and of course, since I'm using both my phones right now, I can't show you the one that I chose, but it's one that kind of fades from like a light beige color to a deeper, almost purple color. So the colors for the background are going to be beige, PC 997, peach, PC 939, salmon pink, PC 1001, pink, PC 929, processed red, PC 994, and pomegranate, PC 195. So in this part, we're going to try to get all that done. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. It is quite a bit to color, but for the most part, they're small pieces. So let's dive right into doing the tail. I should have had this going beforehand. I'm actually recording this part right after I finished recording part 2, because my husband's going to be home soon, and y'all know how I feel about talking to myself in front of people. Even him. I'm supposed to be comfortable around him, but I still don't like talking to myself. He'd make fun of me. He's a sweetheart, though. I don't mean that in a bad way. Just trying to find a picture of a mermaid here that I've colored. It's proving to be a little more difficult. Let's see. Okay, just making sure we're recording again. I paused it. It took me a little bit to find, but I finally found what I was looking for. So there are 2 different ways that I color mermaid tails. First one I'll show, this is Lady Liberty, and you can barely see it, but I did kind of a color gradient, so from dark to light. Anywhere where a scale was underneath, it'd start out dark and it'd move to lighter, and that's kind of the effect that you get from that. Or you could do the sides of the tail darker and then have a shine in the center. And I think this is how I'm going to do this one, because I really liked how this turned out. If you're curious about sparkles, we'll be going over that along with the skin, I think. Unless the skin takes too long, then I might do just a separate short video on just adding different things to add more to your picture. But without further ado, we're already about 5 minutes into this, so let's get started on her tail. I'm not going to be able to zoom into this too much. Well, let's zoom in a little bit. We'll start with that part of her tail. Okay, so for her tail, I think, let's see here, we are going to use powder blue. I think we are going to skip using aquamarine. We're not going to use this one. So let's just get rid of that altogether. Put that pencil over here so I don't accidentally pick it up. So let's start with our peacock blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tilt this a little bit. So I'm just going to add some peacock blue just to the sides of her tail here. I'm just going to fade it out. I'm going with fairly firm pressure towards the end because I know for sure that that's just going to be this blue. It's not really going to fade into, or it's not going to blend into anything really. But I'm going to fade it out as I go so it blends into the light aqua, which is our next color. We're going to switch to that, and right where we left off with our peacock blue, we're just going to start coming in with the aqua. I'm not going to do too many layers for this. I'm going to try to get it done in maybe 1 or 2. So I'm just going to color in the faded area and then fade the aqua out. And then I'm going to go back to the peacock blue and I'm just going to kind of darken it, fade it into the light aqua just a little bit more. Make sure that the transition from the peacock blue to the light aqua is smooth and seamless. See, already this is starting to look a little bit more three-dimensional. I'll come back to the light aqua and just do the same thing, just gently fading it out. Then I'm going to do the same thing I did on the flower petals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade the aqua all the way in with just very light pressure, so I have a very light layer of aqua on this the part that'll be the shine. But we're going to go in with the powder blue. And we're going to blend it just to make sure we keep that light. I'm going to blend it a little bit into the light aqua on the sides, but not too much. Let's just go back in with that light aqua once more just to kind of define it. Just right on the edges between the powder blue and the peacock blue. I guess I lied, this is about 3 layers I think, and then we'll go back in with our peacock blue and just make sure that that's all we have on the sides here. So there's part of her tail. Let's see if I can get both of these in the screen here. I'll say again, it is a hassle having to use 2 phones, but it is so worth it. So I'm going to start with the peacock blue, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very lightly start putting some in, bringing them up maybe like 1/3 of the way on these lines here, because you don't want to try to fit 3 colors. As we get over here, we're probably not going to see the... You want juice? Yeah. Alright, put your sippy on the counter. I'll get you some in a minute, baby. Okay. Over here, we're probably not going to see the lightest color, so it'll probably just be the peacock blue and the light aqua. So just lightly go in and put your color up to where you think it would look good. You can try to copy mine exactly or just kind of do your own thing. Either way, as long as you do a gradient on the tail, it doesn't matter how you do it, it'll still look awesome. So let's come in with the light aqua now. I'm just going to gently go over the peacock blue, and I'm going to fade into just the ends here. Now for the tail, I am going to have just the peacock blue by itself a little bit. It'll still look similar to the flower and the bottom part of her tail, but it'll kind of make it look just slightly different, I'm hoping. Just so it's not all too similar. So I think right about here down, we're probably not going to see any of the light blue, so I'm just going to fill all this in with a light layer of aqua. Carbon, out of the kitchen, please. Little brat's having a habit of getting into things lately. Okay, so I like that. I'm not going to bother going in with the powder blue yet because I know exactly where it's going to go. So I'm going to go back to the peacock blue here, and I'm just going to start darkening it up at the ends and fading it out. So dark at the ends, fade it. So dark at the ends, fade it out towards where that light aqua is going to start. I'm using a medium pressure here, I would say. I usually start with a light pressure and then I'll go back in with a medium pressure, and then finally when I have it to where I like it, I'll go back in with a firmer pressure to try and block everything in. I think doing these videos is also helping me with my thoughts and explaining myself to you. Which if you've watched a few of my videos, you should know that I'm not good at. So still with that medium pressure, I'm just coming back in pretty much over everything I'll do. I don't want to burnish it quite yet because I want to be able to come in and do one more layer of the peacock blue to keep it dark. Because as you can see, once you go over it with your light aqua, it does lighten it up a fair bit. Just enough to mostly get rid of that white, and so when we do our last layer with the peacock blue, there'll be no white in there. I'm going to bring this out just a little bit more here. A little farther than I originally anticipated, and same with this. And then right here, I'm just going to fade it out right close to the end. There's not going to be much powder blue on that at all. And the rest of these, I'm just using that same pressure. These ones, I'll have to go back in with the peacock blue and the light aqua, I think. So let's switch back to our peacock blue again, and I'm using a very deep pressure here. I really want to get this color to show in at the ends. And just lightly fading it out as we get closer to the light aqua. Just wherever you feel you should. Actually use my blender pencil to blend these ones in, maybe. Okay, so actually let's go in with our powder blue now. Okay, well that's awesome. I'm so sick of this phone telling me that I need to frickin' update my phone. Ugh, it drives me nuts. So I guess now we're using this phone. I'm just using a fairly firm pressure. I'm going quite a ways into that aqua color. I'm going to go over just these top ones just a little bit here. And I'm going to switch back to my light aqua and just go over both colors just a little bit.
Mommy?
Yeah, sweetie?
Mommy?
Yeah, we're going to make lunch as soon as Mommy's done this one. What do you want for lunch? You don't know? Typical answer. Just going to go over these darker areas too in here. Just to make sure they blend. So there's not much area in these smaller ones to blend. It'll be interesting to see where my phone cut off on that last part of the video. Okay, lastly, let's go back in with the peacock blue just one more time. This paper is pretty much burnished, but I might be able to get one more layer on here. And off camera, I probably will just blend this with my blender pencil. But here's her tail for the most part. What I'm going to do is wherever my good phone cut off, I'll just play the rest of this video on my crappy phone because my good phone, as crappy as it is in the sense that it cuts me off all the time, the color does show up a lot better on it. So I apologize for that, but at least I was using two phones and we still get to see everything, which, oh, I'm so thankful for that. So I guess next time I come back it'll be a while, but for you guys it'll be right away. And the next thing we're going to color, I think, is the water. I think. Or no, sorry. It'll be the tree, and then the water. And then the rest of the background. See you next time. Right away, actually. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to color on this picture is the leaves for the tree. Again, I'm always apologizing for my squeaky chair. I don't know what color I want to start with first. Let's start with the spring green. I'll pull this down just a little bit. And I'm just going to give a light layer of spring green to every part of the leaves, I guess. And then I'm going to switch to parrot green. And I'm just going to start from the ends that are cut off by the frame here and just kind of lightly fade it out towards the tips of the leaves. I'm going to do that for all of these. This little one here, just go where it tucks in behind this leaf. Try to leave a little bit of the tip to be spring green. the same thing for each individual leaf. Now I have my phone set to airplane mode, and excuse me, I ended up updating it yesterday, so hopefully it doesn't harass me to update anymore. So we should be okay. Next we're going to switch to dark green. And I'm going to use more of a medium pressure after I sharpen this. It's pretty dull. Just using a fairly medium pressure. Sorry guys. I'm going to actually start working from the bottom because a lot of these are going to be shadowed. For example, these two, in my eyes, it looks like this leaf here is resting over this. So I feel like this will probably have a bit of a shadow. So I'm going to work my way up.
No.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Good. So I'm going to work my way up and figure out where my shadows are. Just using a medium pressure, I'm going to press harder towards the ends here and then fade them out where I think they need to be, which will probably be right before the, are we using parrot green? Yeah. Now on these little tiny ones, I'm basically just going to do the same thing as we did with the frills. I'm just going to put one line of green here and then fade it out just slightly from that line, so I don't want too much on there. Again, this leaf looks like it's kind of being covered by this one. So just where this leaf is over this one, I'm going to put a shadow just along that edge of the leaf, and then I'm going to fade it out quickly. This one is probably under this leaf as well, but since it's so small, I'm just going to shade it normally. Just a little bit at the ends. This one I'll shade near the end here. And just underneath that leaf. This one will just be at the ends here. Oh, that sun is blinding. I don't have blinds in my art room. Oh, this leaf is probably under this one too, so I'm going to just give it a little bit of a shadow underneath. I'm just going to make sure we're still recording here. Okay, let's switch to the parrot green again. And now with the medium pressure, we're just kind of going to go quite a ways into the dark green and then bring it out, fade it out where you want it. Kind of doing the same thing on every leaf. Just medium pressure, blending into the dark green, fading it out into the light green. Let's switch back to dark green. Just gonna layer in here for a little bit, try to get rid of that white. I find that the greens are kind of hard to burnish this paper with. I might have to use my blender pencil. And then we're going to go back in with our parrot green and do just the exact same thing. Just firm pressure, we're going to blend it into that dark green. Not going all the way to the ends, we want to keep that fairly dark. And just fade it out as we go. Do one more layer with the dark green there. I'd really like to get rid of these white spots without having to use my blending pencil. I will if I have to, but I try to avoid it. Starting to like that. Let's go in with our spring green now. Just paranoid, gonna make sure it's still recording. Okay. Now I'm using a fairly firm pressure. I'm just bringing it into this parrot green here quite a ways. Almost completely up to the dark green. Actually really like the look of this green over top of the parrot green. So I think that looks pretty good. Still off camera, I'm going to burnish that with my blending pencil and blend it all together better. Try to get rid of those white spots. I was going to do that with the tail too, but I forgot. I haven't gotten around to it yet. So, I think we're done with our greens now. So, next we'll tackle the water. I'm saving the background for last because there's so many different colors involved in that. Let's just see if I can move this down here. Okay, both cameras are focused. We're good. I'm sorry for the lines and the shadows. The sun is not making up its mind. It keeps going in and out of the clouds today. I'm just going to move these pencils out of the way so I don't accidentally grab them. Sharpen my turquoise pencil. Take a quick look at my color chart if I can grab it here. Are you okay, baby? Okay. Just want to look and see how close this cobalt turquoise is to her tail colors. Might be a little too close, so I might have to be very careful with that. So, excuse me. I just can't get this tickle out of my throat. I find it's always worse in the mornings. So I think what we're going to do is just underneath these dots here that suggest waves, that's where I'm going to put the cobalt turquoise. I don't want to have too much of this color because it's really close with her tail in color. I'm going to create this little spot over here. Now I'm doing fairly heavy pressure for this. I think this is probably the only time we'll use the cobalt turquoise. Maybe once more just to define those lines. But for the most part, we're going to stick to our lighter colors. Mostly the light green. But now I'll do some light aqua, and we're just going to go over those lines and bring them down just a little bit. Using just a medium pressure, I don't want to go too hard. Okay, now we'll switch to the light green. This is probably my absolute favorite pencil. And it's getting small, and I looked it up because Michael's is a little bit far from here and they never seem to have this color. I'm not sure if they carry it in stock. Maybe they do and I just never see it. But I looked on Amazon for it and it's like $12 just for this pencil alone. It's ridiculous. I'm also in Canada, so sometimes it's hard to get stuff like this. So what we're going to do with our light green is we're just going to go in, and instead of going side to side, well, maybe I should go side to side. Yeah, we'll go side to side. So using the side-to-side motion and pressing pretty firmly, I'm just going to blend everything in. Forget about this little spot up in here or down under her tail. Some areas you have to go up and down and around the edges there to make sure you get them. This one I'll just do little circles in here. And then also, I left this little corner here as water, but that could have been hair too. Probably was hair, but I put it as water. So I do like that. Let's see if we can get one more layer of cobalt turquoise in here, just to kind of, just lightly, medium pressure maybe, just darkening up some of these little lines here. And there's the water. I know it looks kind of blotchy now, but I think it'll look better once we get some white gel pen in there. So that should be it for our blues as well. Is that a good apple? Apple num num. Good, I'm glad. I actually tried to imitate the water on this. Okay. I'm pretty sure those are the colors I used. I wish I'd have marked this one down color-wise, but I never did. And that was from Sweet and Simple. I actually have I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I have a 150 slot pencil case on the way, as well as Hannah's new book, finally. I'm super excited for Hannah's new book, but I am extremely excited for that pencil case. Mainly because I'm still I have the 150 set of Prismas, and I still have them in the box, so every time I want to get at my pencils, I have to, let's zoom out a little bit, I have to lift the trays up, and it's just such a hassle. There's 6 different trays. It's just ridiculous. And this box takes up a lot of space. I'm not sure the dimensions of the pencil case. I never looked. I just know it holds 150, so that's what I want. And I think on my little shelf here by my desk, I think it'll probably save me at least this much space, which will be nice. Anyways, we're only at 17 minutes, but I'm going to go save this to my computer because this background is going to take a while. Plus, I never realized it, but my son's phone never charged last night because I forgot to plug the charger into the wall. Which, I'm not going to lie, is not the first time I've done that. So I'll be right back, guys. Okay, now last but not least for this part, we have the background to do. Now, one thing I noticed is that it actually shows some of the background down here too. So I could still pass this off as a sunrise, but the sun would be a little bit higher in the sky than I anticipated. I'm still going to go with the original colors that I plan to do in the original way that I plan to do regardless though, because, I mean, it's a cartoon picture, it's not realistic, so. In the picture the sun would have been white, but I don't know if I want to leave the sun white. I'm going to do all the background and leave the sun for now. Just until I decide. I mean, you could also do this as a nighttime picture and have it as the moon. But I mean, I usually do that, so I want to try something a little bit different. Especially since I'm taking the time to record it anyways, so. To make it a little bit easier on yourself, you should have your pencils ordered from lightest to darkest. I do believe, well, I know for a fact that when I showed you on here, this is from lightest to darkest. I do believe,
Mommy,
what baby?
please.
Okay, just give me 1 minute. I do believe that when I showed the alternative pencils for the budget brands, they were from darkest to lightest, so you just gotta switch them around. Okay. I had to let my little dude into the bathroom. So let's just come down here first. I'm starting with the beige. I'm going to do the beige around the sun. This whole spot here will be beige. This, I'll fade it into something just at the tip here. I'd be fading into the peach. I'll fade this into the peach up here. There'd be a little bit of beige. And this will curl a hair and then it would fade. And I'm thinking, if we go by how round the sun is, the sun would probably end right about here. So it'd probably be beige up till here, and then peach maybe. So we'll do this little spot, the salmon pink, I think. It might look funny, but I don't know. Anyways, for now I'm just using light layers. Just to kind of figure out where the colors are going because I'm not quite sure. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 colors to fit into this. And if I told you it wasn't going to be tricky, I'd be lying. So let's move up here a little bit. just gonna lightly put in this peach. Kind of bringing it into the beige a little bit. And then fade it out, I think, right about here and here. Put a little bit of shading in here. Okay, let's switch to the salmon pink, and I'm just going to color in down here right now so that way I can move the cameras to focus on the top part of the sky and actually zoom in a little bit more so you can see better. I think I'm just going to leave it as the salmon pink, maybe take just a little bit of pink and using a very firm pressure I'm just going to put some in the bottoms here. Okay, see, pink goes after salmon pink. Okay, and then I'm going to use peach just to blend them together, just where they meet. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks. So, just going to move you up here. I guess I can't really zoom in too much. I can zoom in a little bit, but I'm just going to have to get up and move the cameras every once in a while, which is fine, I don't mind. Okay. Just gonna make sure both of these cameras are in frame here. Perfect, okay. So, right here we've got beige and peach down. So, now we should be on the salmon pink. And I don't think I'm going to put too much of this down. Fade it into that peach there. Carvin, why would you close that?
Oh, yeah.
Silly. I think I'm just going to bring it up to about where this strand of hair meets her head here, and then I'm going to fade it out. Okay. Okay, we have 3 more colors to go. So next is the pink. So we actually have a little bit more room to play with than I thought. So we might be able to spread these colors out a little bit, which is another reason why I'm going very lightly. So I'm going to, actually there's something underneath this page here. So I'm going to bring the pink up to about here, I think. Just fade it out there. I'm going to bring the pink down into here a little bit, just so the colors blend a little bit easier. And we'll switch to our process red. Fade it down into that pink just a little bit. Still using really light layers. Okay, now I want everything using kind of a medium pressure now. I want to make sure that everything behind her hair is the process red. And from about there, I'm going to fade it up because we're going to fade into the pomegranate. So I want just the very top of the page to be the darkest. I do notice that my jerky coloring style kind of shakes this cage a little bit. I wonder if I put something somewhat heavy on it to kind of bring it down. Just stop doing that. Alright, baby, I'll put on a new movie for you. What do you want to watch? You want to watch Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does that sound like a good one? Okay, and we already know where our pomegranate's gonna go, but let's put some in anyways, so we kind of get a light idea of what this is gonna look like. I'm just kind of using medium pressure up here. I could go darker, but for now, I'm just gonna kind of leave it light. Feed it into that process red. So as you can see, it's going to be a very interesting gradient. Hopefully we can pull it off. I tried weighting down the size of this cage a little bit, but it still kind of moves around. I think we just might have to deal with it. Let's see here. Yeah. I'll just have to be careful and try not to move you guys around too much. Can't really help it. So... start back with our light colors. We'll start with our beige. Now I'm using a fairly firm pressure. I know where all my lines are going to be, or not where all my lines are going to be, but where all my colors are going to be, where they're going to fade, where they're going to switch. So then, once you have that down, you can pretty much use it as a map. I'll color right into where the peach starts, and then I'll fade into the peach. I'm coloring very hard, fairly hard, not like super hard, but hard enough to get some good coverage of color down. And then I'm lightening up the pressure as I get into where the next color is going to start. So you have to remember that you have to leave room for each separate color, plus little spaces where they fade into each other, which is kind of going to make a whole nother color. I like how that's looking. So now let's switch to the peach. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to use a fairly firm pressure and then fade it out as I get into where the peach starts. Now your lines are the colors where they start. They don't have to be completely perfect. I mean, nature's never perfect. It's perfect in a sense, but not completely perfect. So, I think that's it for a peach. We'll switch to the salmon. It's okay if you end up having, like, say, as you can see up here, so say, right here where it switches to the salmon pink. It's fine if it goes kind of down like this. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. In fact, that'll kind of make it look funny if it is. So you notice right here, I faded the peach off here, but then up here it's kind of faded off here, and then kind of back down here. just kind of going with it. I think the hardest thing that I have had to grasp with adult coloring is that it doesn't have to be perfect, and most times if it's not perfect, it actually turns out looking better than if you did try to make it perfect. I find that sometimes we put too much thought into our projects or our pictures. Again, I'm just coloring with fairly firm pressure up until I want it to switch colors, and then I'll fade it out. Oh, that's the first time that's happened. And my pencil just broke. I've honestly never had a problem with these pencils up until now. So here it kind of slightly bows down a little bit too. It starts off high and then the fade comes down lower. So switch to the pink now. And I guess we can start coming up a little bit. So the exact same thing, just a firm pressure, fade into the bottom color and the top color. So we only have 2 colors left here, so I'm actually going to come up quite a ways with this pink. I think I'm going to try to bring it up on this side up to here, and then I'm going to kind of bring it down to here a little bit. Switch to the process red now. I'm just going to kind of, using a medium pressure, and add a little bit of process red in here. And I'm going to go over the pink here with it. I'm going fairly dark in behind her hair, and then fading it up right away. One thing I'm going to do, because I'm noticing that this process red isn't really blending very well, is I'm going to take the pink here. I'm just going to blend into it a little bit more, bring the pink up higher to kind of dull this process red so it doesn't look like it's such a huge, what's the word I'm looking for? I cannot think of it. Basically, so it doesn't look like there's a huge area of process red and then just smaller areas of the rest of the colors. Yes, baby? You watching a movie?
Me?
What do you want?
Mommy.
What?
Daddy hat.
No, that's Mommy's plant. Crazy?
Oh, Daddy hat.
No, Mommy's plant.
Oh, hat.
You have Daddy's hat.
Daddy's half?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to come back in with the process red. I will have to use my blending pencil on the background a little bit, I think. Mainly because this process red is really tricky to get all the white out of. It's really, I find it's really soft compared to the other pencils I've been using for the background here. I'm going to fade it up a little bit more. I want to get a lot of that process red color in the top too. And then we're going to switch to our pomegranate. And again, fairly firm pressure. Usually always with little circles unless you're up against an object like this, in which case you go alongside it. Go back in with that process red and just blend a little bit more into the pomegranate. Okay. Already at 21 minutes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go save this part of the video to my computer quickly. And then I think I'll just do a quick little sped up video of blending in the background just for reference. When I'm blending, I'm going to be blending upwards like this as much as I can, just vertically up and down, because I want to blend the colors into each other, not alongside each other. So yeah, I'll be doing up and down kind of in a circular motion like that. And then we'll figure out what to do about this sun. I'm really not sure. Just thinking maybe we could do it like a really light yellow. Maybe like an eggshell in the center and then cream towards the outside, or just have a cream sun all together and then just blend it with white. I think that's what we'll do. We'll put cream in the sun and then blend it with white to keep it really bright, but not white bright. And we could do it yellow, but I feel like if we did it yellow, then it's gonna look funny with the background. So yeah, we'll do that, and I'll be right back. have that done, the very last thing to do in this part of the tutorial slash color along is the sun. So this is cream. I'm just going to very lightly start putting some color into the sun. Now, I'm not sure if it should be darker and then fade to lighter or not. But that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a very heavy hand to really get this cream color in here. And then I'm just going to kind of fade it out towards the edges. And then I'm going to take my white Prismacolor and I'm just going to go over the whole thing. So here's what we have done so far. Now all we have left is the lips, her eyes, her skin, and then just adding details to kind of liven up the image a little bit. One more thing that I wanted to do, so we'll see if I can do. I may have blended her shirt a little bit too much for this. Oh, here I am moving trays, knocking pencils out of order. I so cannot wait for my pencil case. So I'm going to take the yellow chartreuse, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the end of these leaves to make them more yellow. Wherever I can. There, then they don't, it kind of doesn't really pick up on the camera very well. But then it kind of doesn't look so different from the leaves on the palm trees. Upside down here. Aren't we? Or are we not? I can't remember. Why is that backwards? Doesn't want to change. Well, hopefully we're not upside down, but any of these. I'm not sure about colors for her eyes, but I do know that her lips would be this pretty pink color, and then it'll kind of match her shirt. We'll play around with eye color later on. Maybe I'll do some tracing paper examples and try and figure it out. It'll probably either be really light blue or really light green, I think. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this color along. Oh well, so far. It's not done yet, but if you're following along, I would love to see your pictures. So if you have Instagram, go ahead and tag me in them. Other than that, I really don't know what's up with my phone. Hold on here. I'm going to keep it this way even though it looks upside down on the screen, but hopefully it won't be. If it is, I completely apologize. We'll just have to deal with it because I didn't have the other phone recording this time. I figured I'd chance it since it was such a small amount of work to do. But yeah, I will see you guys in part 3. I hope you're enjoying this. Yeah, happy coloring!